Before you say anything, we're recording.
Oh, I wasn't going to say anything.
I'm gonna let Alan and Isabel in.
Sorry? Yes.
Alan and Isabel. There's four puppies for both of these classes, right?
Correct. Yeah, correct.
But Remy in this one?
Yes. Yeah.
He's not coming tonight. I know that.
Oh, no? Oh, they missed last week too.
Oh, interesting.
Did they say it? Because they didn't say anything last week. They did say something this week?
Ali texted me and said Remy's not going to make it today. So.
Okay.
But I said I've admitted them, but I don't see them.
Yeah,
there we are. That's
cool. So Megan.
The wrong setting. There you go.
So Megan, we have Charlie, who is the fluffy thing.
Perfect. Hi, Charlie.
And then we have Bo, who is right there.
Hi, Bo.
And then we have Piper, who is in the, well, for me, bottom right corner. I don't know where she is for you.
Mine too. I'm right down here. There she is.
Yeah, so that's Piper.
It was a YouTube video. Like, click and subscribe. Hi everybody, I'm Megan. Thank you for bearing with us with that little changeover time there. And with Ali not making it today. Can everybody hear me okay? All the audio is good and all that fun stuff. Okay, perfect. Yeah, Ali just had something come up very, very last minute, so she asked me to just cover the class today. So bear with me if I ask you kind of where everybody's at. I've not met everybody just yet. So we'll kind of go from there. I thought maybe we would, so I'm gonna have to try and remember these names now. It was Charlie?
Yep. Yeah.
Bo and Piper. Charlie, Bo, Piper. Okay, I can do that. I'm Megan, and this is Gypsy, the one that she's just really biting my foot. So we're gonna work through some classes with her. Bear with her too, she's very, very tired. We didn't know we were taking this class a little bit later on. So we're going to start off with just a bit of a review of some of the things that we've done previously that Ali would have done with you last week and done previously, just to get our pups kind of working and thinking and moving that way. And so what I thought we would start off with is going back to that week 2, I guess it is, or week 1, practice some puppy stand-ups. So I'm sure Ali has been through the puppy push-up with you, which is the sit to the down to the sit. But this one we're going to mix it up. I don't know if Ali's done this already, but we're going to mix it up and do some stand-ups. So either a down to a stand or a sit to a stand. And even if your pup's good at doing that too with the puppy push-up, maybe throw in a sit every now and again. So we're learning what those cues are individually. Ouch, that's my foot. What those cues are individually, and we're not just chaining them together. So we're not just learning that a sit goes to a down, then to a sit again. We're chaining it individually. So kind of show you if this one stops biting my foot, kind of what I mean. I'm in a bit of a different room tonight because I'm trying to set up one of our other exercises. This is Gypsy. So if I get you to start off with those puppy push-ups or puppy stand-ups, so sit, to a stand, to a sit, yes. Yeah. Remember to mark at the very end of your sequence. So you'll sit, stand, sit, you're going to mark at the very end, mark and reward at the very end. So just do a few of those to get your pup kind of thinking and moving. So we'll do a few from down to down as well. Oh, I can't see it already. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Just do a few of those. Oh gosh.
Yes.
Just get them thinking, get them back into like work mode. That is my laptop. We don't chew that. Thank you.
Yep.
Good job, Piper.
Well done.
Nice.
Oh, sorry.
Good job, Bo. I saw that stand. There we go, Piper. Hello. What are you doing on the table?
Charlie?
Perfect. So we've done a few of those, just to kind of get them working and thinking. I know Ali will have done a bunch of review on touch, which is that target training. Is everybody moving around a bit now with that touch?
Yes. Piper's going across different rooms now, which is great.
I'm sorry?
Piper's running from room to room right now, which is great.
Wicked. That's brilliant. Are we doing multiple touches for one treat? Have we got to that point yet where we can ask for a touch, and then a treat? Or are we still doing touch, treat, touch, treat, touch, treat?
I've been doing touch treat. I guess I could probably try for the next phase.
Absolutely, yeah. So the next sort of progression, just to kind of, I would for now, while we're just sort of getting them working again, getting them back into that mode, maybe do a couple of touch, with movement. So touch, treat, and then we'll try and do a couple of touches, for that one treat. So that what that would look like. And I'm going to make a start off with it easy. I'm not going to ask for like one over here and one way over here. Good. Yes. So I'm asking for 2, and then the yes comes in. Sorry, let me get that one. After the second touch, or even the third touch, if you can get more. So I could say touch, touch, touch. Yes. And if you're really good at it and you really want to challenge a pup, see if you can get those touches in a circle. It's the start of that sort of spin or dance command where they go around in a circle. So if you can do a couple of touches for one treat, that way I could do touch, touch. Yes. I don't know if that's terribly clear with my weird lighting in this room, but I wanted this door for something later on. So yeah, try a few of those. See if we can get those the start of that spin going.
Touch, touch, touch. Yes. Hyper touch. Touch. Touch.
If the spin is really tricky and we're not getting all the way, you may have to break it down to sort of 1/8 of the circle or
touch.
Less, I guess. Whatever less is, a 16th.
Touch. 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 I think 2 is the max I'm getting right now.
Okay, so that's a good, fantastic start. And then just see if you can build up to that. You might find that you need to put them closer together. So you're going to touch, 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 and then you get 3 without them having to move. That would look like this. Touch, 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 yes. So I'm not asking you to move, so I'm not adding in the extra step of having to move and make it tricky, but I'm going to get more in. And that way we're learning too that we may be asked to do more than one thing before that treat comes out. Yes. Good job. Good job.
Touch.
Let's do maybe 1 or 2 more of those. Find it. And then do a quick like 2 treat, find it.
Touch. Touch. Find it. Down.
Oh, good job, Bo.
Minute.
Charlie I've got Charlie's bum on my screen. That's lovely. Good job. Perfect.
Charlie, touch. Charlie, touch. Yes. Good boy. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So that's something you guys can work on too, is adding those multiple touches in. Maybe getting that spin. If you have to go in a circle too, getting the moving. That's one way of getting a spin or a dance kind of cue in as well. It's kind of cute and fun to do with them. We will very quickly just review that Watch Me. Did you guys do Watch Me last week?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was 1 treat to the side, watching for their eye movement. Perfect. So how's that going? It's kind of, everyone's got that going pretty well.
I find it goes well whenever I'm inside, but once we get outside with other distractions, it's not as good.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Do you have is it worse out the front or out the back?
Definitely out the front where there's more distractions.
So, well, I would practice even if you have a back garden or somewhere that's a little less distracting, but still outside. Or even what you could do is sort of after a walk, at the end of the walk, be inside with the door open and practice that way too. And then slowly build it up and keep trying outside, and it will come eventually. It will come as well. The other thing that and again, this is really going to be really important for this class. I should have also said this class is going to be on recall and walking, which is going to be fun via Zoom. Still haven't quite figured out how this is going to go. But rewarding any of those natural check-ins. So when we haven't asked specifically for a watch me, but our pup looks back at us to check in, I absolutely would mark and reward that every single time it happens right now, just because they're still young and learning. And they obviously are doing it for a certain reason. Something in their history has told them that looking at you is reinforcing. So if we reinforce that again, almost doing a double reinforcement, so they're really going to want to keep checking in with us, and we really like to encourage that, and that will help with that watch me outside too. But another way to make watch me just that little bit harder, and so again, I'm going to encourage you to start off with just the one treat by the side of your face. So watch me and wait for those eyes to pop over. But a way of making it a little bit trickier is to have 2 treats. So now we have to go from one or the other. The other thing that's going to make it a little bit trickier from everyone's position, from what I can see, is everyone is sitting lower to the ground, so they are closer to their pup. And that also makes it trickier. Normally we're standing up and the treat's quite far away, so bear that in mind too. So, and obviously she's laid down now, so it's really awkward for you to see. Not that you would see her eyes move anyway, so I'll just do it on my face. So what I'm going to do is just hold 2 treats up. Same distance from my face. I really want to see when the eye moves. I don't want, if I put it here, I won't necessarily see the eye movement very easily. Sorry, my cat is now stealing my dog's treats. And so I'm going to put the 2 hands up. I'm going to say, watch me. Yes.
Look at me.
And the moment those eyes pop to my face, I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to reward. You're going to have to reward with one of the treats in your hand. You can't bring in a third arm from behind your back, because unless you have a third arm, which would be lovely, but find it. So maybe do a couple of those to practice too. This will really come in handy if we practice this now. This will be good for our walking as well, our walking practice as well. And I'm going to have to just trust that your dog is looking at you, because I can't see what their eyes are doing. So find it.
Look at me.
Look at me. Yes.
Good boy.
Look at me. Yes.
Look at me. Look at me.
Yes.
Good boy.
Look at me. Yes.
Oh.
Look at me. Yes. Good boy.
Good.
Good boy, Charlie.
Look at me. Yes.
Look at me.
Find it. And if that's going really well for Miss Piper there, what you could even do is bring your hands a little bit lower, or go back to using one, but bring it even lower still, because you're bringing yourself up. If she's doing really well with the 2, we can just bring that hand a little bit lower, so it's a little bit closer, so it's a little bit more attainable for her, but she still has to practice that self-control. Yes, I even saw a head movement there. Perfect. I see Charlie panting, but I'm trusting that he's doing what he's supposed to be doing over there.
Yes.
Good job, Bo. And that's something with Bo too, what you could even start to do is move your hand just down a little bit, so that she has to look, it's closer to her face. So then it's going to be, like I say, a little bit more attainable. She might think, oh, I can get it now. It's a bit closer. And see if we can still get that watch me. Yeah, good job. Can you not do that, please?
Yes.
Charlie. Where?
Look at me. Yes. Thank you.
Good job.
Look at me. Yes. You're slipping in.
Look at me.
Yeah, good job, Bo. That's really hard. I was watching him. He was like, where do I look? Good job.
Look at me.
No.
All right. We'll do one more of those. And then if you have a toy handy, do a little bit of a play with your pup, because I'm noticing them they were doing really well and they're starting to get up. So they're starting to get a little bit tired maybe, or a little bit, just a little break for them. And then we'll move on to something new for this week.
Oh, did Charlie get a new toy? A sheep now?
Yeah.
Last week it was a hot dog, Megan.
Yeah.
Oh, wicked. I think a dog deserves a new toy every week. I think that's fine.
That's
Okay.
what-
Oh, where's my squeaker? Good job. Perfect. Yeah, getting them into those toys right now will come in handy because we're gonna. Oh no, that was last week. Never mind. I'm getting confused with the classes. I did.
Well, I think you were on the right. I think you were on the right track there. No, you're right. You're not.
Right, that's the next one. Yeah, find it.
Oh, Piper. She heard the squeak.
Gosh. Both just having a whale of a time there.
Want to play again?
Okay.
Megan, where's the playing with Gypsy?
She's doing find it because she
Ah.
didn't have all of her food because she fell asleep after her Kong, which is good because she'd be completely. As I said, she'd be completely wild, but she's currently biting my foot all underneath the table right now. So she is doing things that she does when she's tired. So find it. All right. So maybe do like a 1 treat, 2 treat, find it, and then we'll get on. And I just want to do one more quick review and maybe add a little bit of a progression to it. And that would be our leave it or our off. I know we did that. I say we. I know you guys did that last week with Ali. How is that all going for everybody? Are we at the point that we can open up our palms? Did we get to that, or are we just working on having that treat in our closed palm?
We can have open palm.
You can have open palm. Fantastic. And Piper?
Yep. Right, ready? Leave it. Oh, leave it.
Ah.
Yes, take it.
Good job. And Charlie as well?
He does pretty good. Come here, Charlie.
Good.
Come here. Sit. Leave it. Leave it. Good job, big guy.
Very good. So that's actually what we're going to move on to now. We'll move on to just make that a little bit trickier. So let's do a couple of these, and then we'll get on to doing. We're going to do wait today, so like wait to go through the door, which is why I'm in this room and not my usual room, which I'll move back to in a minute. And then we're going to go through a little bit on recall and a little bit of that loose leash, nice, good, nice walking skills. So that the next sort of progression with that off and that leave it would be to. Yeah, we have the open palm right now. That's where we got to last week. Ali hasn't started dropping it.
I think we did drop it.
Did you drop it?
I think so. Did we drop it, guys? No?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, sorry. I thought we did, but maybe not.
I think we talked about. Did we do drop? Oh, we did with the toy. Is that where you hold the toy so it doesn't move anymore and then they drop it?
No.
Or whenever you move the treats and pat them until they walk away from it? Or neither?
Drop it. It's kind of to simulate if you're in the kitchen and something falls off of the counter and it's going to bounce and roll. That makes it a little bit trickier because there's that movement as well. And that can encourage that, like, oh, it's a find it game, and then they go and get it too. So basically, the next sort of progression, if you're already there and you're already ahead of me or ahead of us, go ahead and just keep practicing that, or make it harder by adding a bit more movement or adding more height. So the idea being, so from the leave it and the off from our hand, I guess the next easier progression would be to have that off or that leave it closer to, I'm going to put you on the ground here, so it's just going to be my head talking, would be to have that treat lower and low to the ground, with them leaving it off when it's low to the ground. And then the next progression, and the light in here is not great, I'm so sorry, would be to drop it from a very small height. So it's not going to bounce too far. And I'm going to be able to cover it if I need to, if my dog does jump in to get it. But I'm going to start off from a very small height. I tend to do it from standing, and I can either cover it with my foot if I need to, or cover it with my hand as needed. and then sorry, that my cat's probably destroying my kitchen. The progression from there is to slowly make that height higher, so that treat is a bit more erratic and a bit more bouncy, but slowly work your way up. If you're already able to drop it from sort of, you know, a foot off the ground, maybe do half a foot more. So it would look kind of like this. So I'm going to drop it, leave it. Yes. And Gypsy's done this a few times. She's not going to go for it. If your dog, leave it, does go for it, you can cover it up with your foot. Same idea with their hand closed. As they're working at it, the hand stays closed. When they move off of it, okay, yes, and take it. So I would practice that, and then you're slowly going to add a bit of height to it. So I can drop it from up here, leave it.
I said leave it. Oh, you.
Hey, Charlie.
Just little ways to make it a little bit harder for everybody.
Charlie. Leave it.
Leave it.
Yes. Good boy.
Piper is so polite about, may I have it? May I?
Charlie, leave it.
Oh, beat me to it. Leave it.
Oh, good job. Do you have sticky treats with Charlie? Like ones that don't bounce so well?
It's chicken.
It's just chicken.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Take it. Girl.
Bouncing treats are trickier still.
Leave it. Yes, take it.
Charlie,
Can we get some bouncy treats?
sure.
Leave it.
Leave it.
Yes, take it.
And then yeah, if Charlie's really, really good at it, and you could, well,
Take it.
you could even start to sort of, I was going to say roll it, but chicken doesn't really roll either, so that's a bit of a moot point.
He has his moment.
Not eat the food, please.
Take it.
My cat's on the ground, sorry guys. You're a pain.
Leave it.
Leave it.
Yes, take it.
Wow, that is some good impulse control there, Bo.
Leave it.
Yes.
Yeah. Beat me to it. Leave it. Yes, take it.
Leave it. Leave it.
Leave it.
Charlie.
Yes.
Leave it.
Take it.
Good job. And this is another one to begin practicing outside as well, even if it's somewhere like your back garden where it's a bit less distracting. It's also practice, you can help with that. You can almost prevent them getting to it either with your foot or with your leash. And when they back off the pressure of the leash, then we can let them have it. So we can begin to generalize that off or leave it, or off means leave it no matter where we are, which comes in really, really handy when, for example, you're walking across the field and it's full of goose poo and your dog loves goose poo. We can begin to generalize that it means please leave the goose poo alone, as well as everything else. So I would practice that one as well as that sort of rendition.
Leave it.
And so from here, we will move on to our new stuff for the day. You guys may already have been practicing the wait at the door to go through. I'll just give you kind of our hand signals and how we would practice that. It's a really nice one, again, similar to that leave it and that off, is that it's practicing that impulse control. We're excited to go outside, we're excited to go on a walk, but we don't get to do that until we show some patience, and we get it by showing patience and so having that impulse control. With this exercise, we're not going to need, and I don't know how this is going to work very well with you guys. You may have to just watch me do it and then practice it.
Yeah.
At home where you are now, because I'm not going to make you take the computers to the door and stuff like that. But in this exercise, there's not going to be a food reward because our pups typically want to go outside and see the world. So the reward in this case is to continue walking through that door. And so what I'm going to do, I won't grab Gypsy right now. I'll just show you what I would do. My hand signal for my wait is going to be, I'm going to flash my hand in front of my dog's face. I'm going to say, wait. So leave it. I'm going to say, wait. And then I'm going to slowly begin to open the door. And it's a very similar idea to that that off that you're doing with your hand. Every time your dog goes to go through the door, I'm going to use the door to just indicate that we're not going to move through until we show some self-control and we don't push through. So similar to closing our hand up, it's going to be closing up the door instead. Be mindful that we don't trap our dogs in the door. We don't want to be catching them in the door or anything like that. So even if your dog backs up for just a slight second, then we can say, okay, let's go. And then when they do back up, even for a slight second, I would say, okay, and then let's go. We can walk through and it's all fun. So I will see if we can do that with this little monster. Come on. Please get up. Find it. I don't need to sit right away either. I can go with a stand for now too, and may get the sit later on. Okay, this way. So I'm just gonna flash my hand and say, wait. And open the door. If she had pushed to go through, I would just close it up. Okay, let's go. And then I can walk through the door. I'm obviously not going to walk out and leave you guys there, but that's basically what I would do. Is if your dog pushes through, I'm going to close the door again to sort of prevent them from going through the door. The moment there's that hesitation of, I'm going to wait for a second, I'm going to let them walk through and say, okay, let's go. Oh, I had something else down there. You can slowly begin to expect the time that they wait before they open the door to be longer, but build it up slowly. We don't want to be, we want to set up for success. So we'll practice with it, you know, even for a short time. And then we get that beautiful, open the door wide, they sit there and they wait, and then we can ask them to go through. Yes. All right. I'm gonna just head back to the the other room in there. So we're going to talk a little bit about recall now. Again, this is obviously saying our puppy's name and calling them to us and having them come to us. I'm just going to set myself up. The light's better in the other room, but I just wanted to use that door to kind of show you what I meant there. Let's go, Gypsy. Let's go. So a recall is obviously, as it says, as it sounds, it's a really, really important behavior that we have. We want to make sure that when we're saying that word come, that we really mean it every single time. Oh my God, sorry. That we mean it every single time. And so I don't want to be calling my dog's name and saying come if I'm not able to help them follow through with it. So for the first few sort of renditions of whenever you're practicing this, I would be practicing with them on leash. So I have Gypsy on leash here. So if you have a leash at home, you can definitely go ahead and grab that to help them be successful. My recall is basically, there's not really like a specific hand signal for it. It's just going to be my dog's name and the word come. I want that word out of all words to mean something very important, to mean what it means. Gypsy. I don't want that word of all words to become white noise. If my dog is running towards the road or a coyote, I want to be able to say come, and I want her to turn around and come to me pretty sharpish. And so if there's any point that I think my dog's not going to be able to come, if they are just too distracted, I might try something else instead. She loves to play find it, so I could say Gypsy find it and have her come to me that way. Piper said it's coming in from the other room for a touch. Try that instead or as well to see if you can get them to come for something that's fun like that. Reserve that come so that you can make sure it's going to be successful. So they are on leash, for example. When they get to you, sorry, let me back up. When I've said my dog's name and the word come, my dog is going to, in theory, turn and look at me and then come to me. My yes, my marker comes in as they have turned to come to me, not when they get to me. When they get to me, it's a party, the treats happen, the fun happens, the toys, whatever. But it's that yes comes in when they have committed to turning and coming to me. They all know what the yes or click means right now. So once they hear that, that's what you want me to do, and they're going to continue through with that exercise. And so the way we're going to practice this right off the bat, very, very easy exercise. As with everything, we start very, very easy, and then we get harder and harder. I'm on my own here, so I'm going to actually use a couple of pieces of kibble. I'm going to maybe take 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place 2, make sure you can see, I'm going to place 2 kind of 6 feet away at the end of where the leash would be. I'm going to back up while Gypsy is distracted by what's going on with the treats on the floor, and then call her to me just to the end of the leash. So what that's going to look like is this. These things. I'm just going to put these here. This is the distraction, and then Gypsy, come. Yes, and it's come as she comes to me. And again, I'll try that here.
Hey.
I can be as exciting as I need to be to get her to come to me too. Did you come? Yes. So if I need to make noises and clap my hands and be super exciting, that's totally fine too. Give your pup a beat before we start to pull on them to get them to come, to see if we can get them to come without having to pull. If they're just not interested in coming to us, then we have that leash to kind of reel them in and help them out. And, oh, you come on this way. And just kind of encourage them to us that way. So if you guys have leashes, give that a bit of a go. I know we're a bit limited for space, but just give that a bit of a go, just a few goes of that. So distract them with something. And then call them to you. So you guys have some. I'm just gonna go grab something.
Sit.
Come.
Sit.
Yes.
Down.
Come. Piper, come.
Hey, Ben.
Piper's first one was beautiful.
Piper, come. Yes. Piper, come. Yes.
Good job, Charlie.
Boy. Boy. Yeah. That's my feet.
Come. Yes.
Yay.
Come. Yes. Good boy.
Good job. And then again, practicing this in, obviously when we have a bit more space. So if you have enough space in the back garden, you can always practice this using a long line. So I like using long lines to practice this because especially to start off with, because I have that control that I can then encourage you to come to me.
Charlie.
That a few goes.
You gonna sit?
Yes.
You gonna sit? I'm going to sit. Put your ass down.
Piper, come.
All right, and then I will show you one more game, and this one's gonna kind of get you moving a little bit. And this can help for a couple of different things. And then I'll describe a couple of other games that you guys can play at home. So the other game that I like to play for a recall is a game called Catch Me If You Can. And it's basically teaching my dog to pay attention to where my body is moving. So I'm gonna be almost running away from them. And a dog's favorite game is usually chase or keep away. And so the worst thing we can do during, if our dog is running off the wrong direction, one of the worst things we can do is actually chase after them, because that suddenly becomes really, really fun. That's the best game ever. And so what we'd like, it sounds very counterintuitive, but a really good idea to do would be to call your dog's name and run the other way. It's something we're going to practice right now. So the more we practice that, the more it's going to become kind of second nature and muscle memory sort of ingrained in there. It's also really handy if your dog is one of those ones that kind of runs up to grab and bite your ankles. Gypsy does this a lot. So if I notice that she is running at me and I can feel that she's going to bite my ankles, this was worse when she was much younger. I could just throw in that word come, and when she got to me, I was throwing come and then yes, and then as she gets to me, I can treat her instead, and that kind of flips off that I'm overexcited going to bite your ankles thing, and it turns it into a nice recall practice instead. So worth thinking about if you start running with your dog and they decide to start trying to bite your ankles, turn it into a recall practice. And so the way that would look, again, I'm going to have that leash just in case I need to encourage them to come away or come with me. You can progress to longer and longer lines, longer and longer distance. I'm going to try very hard to get the whole screen in, try and work out my distances here. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to again drop a couple of treats over on the one side to distract my pup. As her head is down and getting it, I'm going to just begin to run away to the other side. And as I'm running away, I'm going to call my puppy's name, and I'm going to say the word yes when they come with me. And then my reward's going to be on the ground next to me. So she's distracted again next to me. and then I'm going to run the other way. So as soon as she's got the treat from the other side, I'm going to run the other way. She's just practicing working out that, oh, Megan's going to move and she's running away, and then if I follow her, I get a treat. And I'm hoping to teach them to kind of follow us as well. That kind of makes sense? Yeah, more or less. I'll show you what I mean. Okay. Go.
Anyway,
Go.
Move your ass.
Okay. Now, not yours. Put those down. I'm gonna run. Gypsy cat. Yes. And then I get the treats on the ground. Gypsy cat. Yes. Treats on the ground. Gypsy cat. Yes. Just practice getting her practicing moving around as well. Obviously, it's much easier to do when we have more space. But if you have a hallway, or if you have a back garden, or you have a piece of grass near, or grass, like a field nearby, or something that you can practice on too. Getting them practicing kind of moving around too is a really nice one to get them sort of moving. Do we have some technical difficulties with Isabel? We're frozen.
Good, yes.
So if you guys want to do if you guys are able to do a couple of goes of that, and then we will do another little play with our puppies.
Yes. Right in a room.
Oh, no.
There's
Gypsy was
not a heap of space. Wow, there's not an awful lot of space for this, but it just gives you an idea of something to practice outside and in novel environments too. Oh, hey, babe.
Megan's making a really funny face, but then she stopped.
Well,
Yeah, I think she was like waiting for you to treat her. So she just looked like really wide-eyed and like her ears were really forward.
I'm tired. I'm too tired for this. Are you watching me? You watching me?
Yes. Piper, come.
Okay.
Yes. Charlie, come.
Ooh, Jelly. I love this one. This is a really fun class to do in the classroom, because people don't realize that I'm going to make them run around so much. Perfect. So once you've done a couple more of those, I'll just get you to start playing with your puppy again. Give them a little bit of a break, even though running after you is kind of a game. And then while you guys are playing with your puppies, I'll just describe quickly what the other games that you guys can play together. If there's multiple of you, and I can't really demo this one, otherwise I probably would have demoed this one instead of the Catch Me If You Can. If you have more than one of you at home with your puppy, what you can do is a game of ping pong, essentially, where one of you calls the puppy and the other to and from each person in the household. To make it easier, what I would do is say if this hand has the puppy, if this hand is calling the puppy, when this person calls puppy, this person turns around. So it makes it much easier for them to follow through and go this way. I might have a long line or a leash in between two. And then when this person, once you've given the treat and the party, everything's great, this person will call and this person will turn around, just to make it easier. And then we'll flip back and forth a few times. Once we're really good at that, then we can both be facing, which adds a little bit more of a distraction, because they've just run to you and they know you have treats. And they're like, but this person has treats. Do you want me to come back to you? Because this person has treats. And so that can make it just a little bit trickier too. So that's a really fun game to play, is that ping pong. And again, if you get those long lines and you have more space, you can really get them sort of bouncing back and forth between different people. I don't have another person here, so I can't. Jen and I talked about ways of trying to demo this between two screens, but I just don't think it's going to work.
Unfortunately not.
Yeah.
Charlie, come.
And then the other game to get you guys to play, and again, not right now because we'll lose everybody off screen, is a game called Hide and Seek. And that is going to be basically encouraging your puppy to seek you out. So pick a room in the house. You can distract your puppy again with a couple of treats or pieces of kibble away. You go into a room, leave the door open or ajar and around the corner, and then call your puppy and be exciting, make noise, be exciting for them when they find you. Way, big party! And then you can reward them that way. maybe toss a couple more treats and then go around the next corner and go just have them find you throughout the house. It's a really fun game that they enjoy playing too, and it's a good one basically. But obviously I'm not going to make you do that now. So if you just want to have a little play break with your puppies, I don't know if you guys were doing that. I think you guys were doing some recalls still. So if you guys want to do some play, just find it if that's what they want right now, or if they have a Kong that they might want instead, or whatever they're feeling right now. If they just want some love, some pets, Gypsy does not. She wants food, don't you? Where's my food? Where's my rest of my meal? Where is it? Where is it?
We're supposed to have our graduation in person, so we can hopefully play some of these games in person when we have graduation. So we'll keep them.
Yeah. I was gonna say we can even practice some of the social before or something, but
Yeah,
I don't know how that would work. We'll have to figure that out. It's all a work in progress. All right. They already all seem a little tired out already.
Yeah, she's had a long day.
Oh, it's a late class for these ones. Yeah. All right. You wanna play? Where's the ball? Where's the ball?
Oh, Bo.
Okay. Come on, okay. She's like, no, I'm good. Eat it. No, no food. Eat it. Okay. Good job. Okay. You guys can keep playing. I'll just have a little talk about some of we're going to do a little bit of a loose leash walking, but can't say that very well today, and sort of practice on that. Typically what we find with puppies or adolescent dogs and walking, there's usually one of two problems. We either get the pulling me down the street every which way, not able to focus or walk with you, or we get the opposite where we get the dog that puts the brakes on. I don't want to move, I'm not going anywhere. Are you guys in either or both of those camps? Is Piper a puller or a?
She's a bit of both, yeah.
Okay. And Charlie?
Both as well. Yeah.
Both. Okay. Is it when they are? Oh, and sorry, and Bo as well. Is Bo kind of in the both camp? Yeah. When they are stopping and they're not wanting to move, is that typically because they're focusing on one specific thing, like a dog or squirrel or a person or whatever?
Yeah, for sure. I find our streets worse if we take her to a park or somewhere else. Noise, other dogs, people walking, noise tends to be the biggest one. If she hears like construction or something, that's when she'll stop, not really want to go much
Okay,
longer.
right. And so what I would do kind of in both cases is one of the things to do is definitely to practice all of the things that I keep saying things that you've been learning with Ali. So the sits, the downs, definitely that find it. So with the construction, getting her moving for that find it, moving on past. With the touches too, a really nice little trick I like to do is a touch, find it. Because that tends to move them a far distance, but without having to give the treat until the end. Then I can toss that treat down the street, and again, I'm moving them in the right way. Movement usually eases them up and makes them feel a little bit better too. If it is like a nervous thing that they're worried about the noise, the sounds, whatever. If it's I really want to chase that squirrel, if we can toss those treats that they bounce, it's like you don't get to chase that, but you can chase this instead. So we're kind of redirecting that energy so it's moving in the right direction, so it's not pulling us off the wrong way. So one of the little tricks for when our dogs have stopped and don't want to move, getting them really into those touches and doing a few of them can help. And I'll just kind of show you what I mean by that. Oh my goodness, this is all under your belly. Come on, over here. Here. So I could even ask for a touch, find it, and then I can toss that treat way over there. Again, this would normally work really well in classes. You could see how far I can cover with a few touches. You can even ask for 3 or 4 touches, get exciting about it, kind of get them moving and feeling good that way. And that's kind of, if you can get them playing outside too, playing outside is a whole different picture for them than playing inside. I'm sure Ali told you about the sort of snapshots that our dogs learn in. Often they learn that play happens inside and it's not something that really happens outside. So if we can get them playing outside in the back garden and stuff too, then if we are able to bring a toy out on a walk for those times when there really is something that's distracting or frightening or whatever, then we can bring that toy out and make it kind of fun too, to get them moving with us and make us be engaging in something they want to hang out with and be around. Now, in the case of when they are just pulling forward or pulling to the way where they want to go, what I'm going to do in those instances is I'm just going to stop moving. I'm going to stop moving and I'm going to encourage my pup to come back. Hello, come back to me. I know, thank you. When they do come back to me, that's when they get to keep on walking. And when my pup is walking with me, I'm gonna turn on as well. I'm gonna be talking. I'm gonna be that strange person on the street that's talking to my dog. Oh, what a good girl! You're doing so well. If we can keep them engaged and talking to us and walking with us and engaging with us while we walk, it encourages them again to want to sort of keep walking with us. And then when they pull forward, they hit the end of that leash. Everything turns off. I stop moving. I stop talking. Everything stops until they come back or they loosen a bit, and then I can say, okay, good job, and then we can keep walking again. This might not work very well because she's probably not going to pull ahead, but it kind of would look like this. If I'm walking, I can keep talking to her. What a good job. You're really annoying today because you're so tired. And you can even tell them, all the things that was frustrating with them, but as long as they're doing it in a happy voice, keep them moving with you, keep them going in that right general direction, keeping them moving in the right way. That's what I do for the majority of my walk, to keep her walking with me. If you stop and your pup does not come back with you, what I'm going to encourage you to do, instead of sort of pulling them back with your arm, is actually just take a full step back. So sort of almost lock your hands in and take a full step back. It's much clearer communication for them when we use our whole body to move as opposed to just using our arm, because it's a bit of a less clear communication because you're still standing still, but they're feeling this pull and it's a bit different. It's going to hurt your shoulder too for the bigger dogs. So actually just grounding yourself and moving your whole body to where you want them to go, it's going to help them to tune into what you're telling them, because your body is moving and they can follow that much easier than your arm. And it's also easier for them to move them if they do get bigger. And if you ever are walking a bigger dog that does it, it gives you more kind of umph to move them and greater control too. So even just taking a step backwards can often encourage them to come back to you, and then, oh great, good job, and then we can keep on walking the direction that we want. That's what I do for most of my walk. When I am walking my dog, I do bear in mind that my walk is not just for me, it's for my dog mostly, and I want to make sure that she has the chance to sniff and to do all the things. So I don't expect my dog ever to just walk the whole walk in kind of that heel position, looking at me the whole time, because that's kind of boring for my dog, and that's not really what I'm out there for. There are times that I do need her to come to my side and walk with me right by my side. And I can encourage that with an exercise we're going to do here. It's kind of the start of a loose heeling exercise. It's not a formal heel. If anybody is interested in doing a formal sort of rally obedience style heel, it's a little bit different. That heeling in that way, walking right next to us, is actually quite hard for a dog to do. They have those 4 legs. They're just much more efficient movers than us, and they are typically very excited about the world as well. So it's really hard for them to kind of do that. So that is kind of an expensive behavior for them to do. And so I wouldn't expect it for a full walk. I might break into it every now and again on my walk to just encourage that I am here, or if I have to pass by, if I have to cross the street, or if I have to pass by some construction or something that's exciting, I might break them into that kind of stay with me for 10 steps. Even just practicing it as something to do is really, really useful as well. And so for that, to start off with, what I will get you guys to do, probably this, you can set this up differently yourself when you're practicing, inside or outside. What are you doing? Or what I have right behind me, in the classroom, I would set up cones. but I don't have cones here, so I'm using books because Gypsy tends to find books less exciting usually. And I'm just spacing them out kind of like a foot, 2 feet apart, more as a visual cue for me. And what I'm basically going to be doing is just the first thing I want to do is really encourage my pup to be engaging with me. And so for that, what I'm going to do is actually walk backwards with my pup on leash. And every time I hit my visual markers and my cones, my cones, I'm going to mark and reward. And then I'm going to mark and reward for them just walking backwards a few times, back and forth backwards. And then what I can do is turn my body to the side and mark and reward to the side. The important thing when I'm turning to the side is that all those rewards come to my side. So they're going to be coming to my side here. I'm not going to be delivering them this way, this way, this way. All the treats are going to be at my side here when I'm walking with my dog forward. I don't deliver, we also have not Domino's, I'm not going to do that. I want where I want your, the treats, where I want the treat's going to be where I want your head to be, essentially. But you definitely want to be doing it backwards first to get that kind of engagement going. So what that would look like, again, is going to be kind of like this. I'm just going to grab snacks here. Again, so I don't know if you can see my books there, but yes. 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 Oh, that one got away. And yes, it's essentially every step if you haven't got books to line up. And again, so do that. Yes. Yes. And I've got green. Yes. And then when I'm going forward, I'm going to have myself set up. I'm going to take a step. Yes. Take a step. Yes. Yes. And back again. 3, 80. Yes. 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 And the end goal for this exercise is that you're going to be able to space those books further apart. You're going to be able to take 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps before we have to add that treat in. But I would definitely be practicing with them walking backwards with us first. And that kind of is the sort of the start of a loose heel. I'm not going to name it a heel yet because our pups don't know what that means. I'm just going to get them working with me and walking with me. Ali does, I know with her, she does a bit of a side tap. So when she's breaking into this sort of walk with me exercise, she'll do a tap to her side because she wants the pup to come here. What I do instead, I kind of have a pocket for my hand. I want Gypsy's nose on the inside of my hand. If I'm going to be doing like more of a heel. So I don't know if you guys are able to practice that, just a few walk back and forth if you are able to. So go backwards first. So even just take like, however many steps you're able to do, like 3 or 4 steps backwards and then back the other way, going backwards, and then turn around and just deliver to your side to encourage them to stick by your side as you're walking.
All right, Piper took a bathroom break whenever you started that. So it was a couple of steps and then reward just to keep her by your side. Is that what it is?
So what you're going to do to start off with is walk with them backwards. So I'm going to be going backwards basically 1 step, yes. Get some snacks, sorry. So yes, yes, yes. And then once I've done it backwards a few times, I can go forwards, yes. 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 So every step essentially to start off with, and then we can phase out it being every step, and then it becomes every 2 steps, 3 steps, and then we can phase it out to sort of 10 steps, and then we get the reward. But start off making it easy and making yourself enjoyable to walk close with. Make it worth their while to start off with, because right now the world is far more exciting than you. I'm sorry to say.
Yes. Yes.
That caught Gypsy. She was like, what?
Mango?
Actually, when you were walking with Gypsy, Piper was very excited by Gypsy.
Really? Aww.
She was making me laugh.
Aww. Maybe they'll meet in a social sometime.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Hey, my big girl.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm.
And what you can do when you're out on a street or on the street is if you have the sidewalk slab platform markers, you can always use them as well, or anything with like bollards and sort of use the natural environment as well to help give you guys kind of a visual cue as well. This is something that I started with Gypsy when she was very young, and I very rarely have to clip her into the front clip harness. Good. Good job, Bo.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Even getting a sit up your step too. Good job. Yeah, so delivering exactly like you're doing there to your side. We're not delivering to them.
Good job, Charlie, from what I can see.
Yeah.
Perfect. Good job, Charlie.
I think Piper's almost done for the night.
Yeah, I think we're actually looking at the time. I think we are almost done for the night. Well, it's not, Jen, you and I aren't done for the night, but you guys are done for the night. You guys can relax now. So does all that kind of make sense? I think it's in your little packages too. I think you got the full package, I assume. If you have any questions on it, we fire them off. Ali, and I think I'm in the WhatsApp group now too. Excuse you. Yeah. Does anybody have any other questions or anything like that before we do sign off? Other than when is this lockdown ever going to end and we can play puppies together?
I think our biggest takeaway this week was just knowing about the way COVID is, and we spend a lot of time with Piper. It's just, I guess, what the life's going to be like afterwards and separation and the rest of it. We have a 2-car garage, and even when we're in the front seat and she's in the back, she can start kind of whining and want to get to the front seat. So I'm just not sure if there are any tactics for what we should be doing to kind of get her more used to that. With separation, sort of preparing for separation anxiety or preparing for not having separation, for being away, a lot of it is just going to be practicing that, being away from them for short periods of a time. Having a schedule can sort of help too. If you know what your schedule is roughly going to be like, if there's a way of kind of practicing, okay, well, you're going to be in your crate from 9:30 onwards, and maybe we do all the things that we would normally do in a walk. That's not going to be any different. In the morning, and then practicing maybe leaving them or having them go into the crate at that time, and then when we get a chance to practice just leaving them, even for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, short periods of time, kind of building up the time that they're going to be alone. So still giving them that practice being alone, even if you just take a walk around the block yourself or that kind of, or those sorts of things. The other thing that's kind of does really, really help too is encouraging them to get involved in some independent playtime. So it's independently playing with toys. It can be those puzzle toys, that chew that Piper has there, practicing that kind of thing. With the car situation, what I might do is give something tasty in the car, so that she's got something to occupy her back there. And then maybe a few times of getting in the car, you sit in the front, you play Find It where she's in the back still, and then you just get out of the car and you don't drive anywhere, but you're practicing just, when I'm here, you're back there. And good things are going to happen still, and nothing bad's going to happen. And then again, just practicing those sort of drives and stuff like that. And that's probably the biggest takeaway, is just to practice as much as we can, building up the times that we leave and that we're, and keeping it consistent to what we're going to be doing when we do go back to normal. So if she's going to have to be in a crate, then let's practice being in that crate when we're walking away. And again, build it up in short increments. We don't want to stress them out till they hate the crate right away. We want to do it sort of slowly. Yes, instead of if we're planning on leaving
oh, sorry, I'm being beeped at. So instead of right now, if we're just leaving them kind of loose in the kitchen, but then they're going to end up being in a crate down the line, let's start with them in the crate and keep that consistent. Would be my suggestion for that. Does that kind of answer the question? Perfect.
You have a question?
Any other questions? All right. Okay, so yeah, so just practicing that walk, practice those games are really fun to play. The running around the house games, having them find you around the house, they're pretty fun to do. If we get to do the in-person grad, which hopefully we will, we may end up playing some of these games. So practice now and maybe we'll win some prizes. Okay. All right, that is it for this week. Good job, everybody. Ali will see you again next week. Okay.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye.
See you next week.